Hi, this is our sauna, which we recently started building right next to a forest pond. In the first episode, we built a solid walkable floor, assembled a strong frame, raised the walls, covered the roof, and even insulated it with moss and soil. And today the build continues. This time we're planning to install the windows and the door, insulate the structure, cover the interior walls, and do a lot more. But before moving forward, we need to fix one mistake we made last time. If you look closely at the floor frame, you can see that it has slightly warped. That happened because we didn't calculate the weight of the structure correctly. This needs to be fixed immediately, otherwise there's a real risk the sauna could eventually collapse. So we grab our shovels and dig two fairly deep holes under the floor frame. At the bottom, we add some gravel mixed with sand to ensure proper drainage, and then place the support posts we prepared earlier. We set them into the holes and press them firmly against the frame. With light taps from a heavy hammer, we carefully level the posts until they stand perfectly vertical. From below, we backfill the soil, and from above, we secure the posts with long screws. On the opposite side of the sauna, we install another additional support. After placing two more posts, the entire structure straightened out and became completely solid. Now the sauna is safe and we can continue working with peace of mind. Since most of today's work will be done inside, we start by installing the windows. They're wooden, which makes them a perfect fit for our forest sauna. The window fits perfectly into the prepared opening. We carefully level it using small wooden wedges. Then secure it to the sauna frame with screws. To permanently fix it in place and seal all gaps, we fill the space between the frame and the wall with expanding foam. The front window is installed the exact same way. First the wedges, then the screws, and finally the foam. We let it dry for a bit, then remove the wedges and trim off the excess foam with a sharp knife to make everything look clean and neat. We also remove the excess foam on the outside. The windows are now in place. They'll make the sauna brighter and allow us to dry it properly after each session. Later on, these foam areas will be covered with trim, so none of it will be visible. Next on the list, the door. Since we don't have a ready-made one, we'll build it ourselves. We lay out 4 boards evenly and screw them together into a solid panel. For extra rigidity, we add a diagonal brace. This will prevent the door from sagging over time. Then we flip the panel over and install large heavy-duty hinges. The door will be quite heavy, so strong hinges are a must. Once the hinges are mounted, we attach the door to the frame. Even though it's only halfway finished, the door already greatly improves the look of the sauna. We'll complete it a bit later. Outside it's winter. There's no snow yet, but it's very cold and extremely windy. We light a campfire to stay warm and brew some hot tea while sitting by the fire. And since the heat from the fire shouldn't go to waste, we decide to cook a quick and delicious meal. We take a large piece of cheese, grate it coarsely, and place it into a deep bowl. 1 tomato is finely chopped and added to the cheese. We do the same with the pepper. Then we add some fresh herbs, a bit of black pepper, and a pinch of salt. We mix everything thoroughly. The filling is ready. We take round flatbreads, place the filling in the center, fold them however we like, and place them on a grill. The grill goes straight over the hot coals. This dish cooks so quickly that you barely need to let go of the grill. The flatbread is fully cooked. Time to take it off the fire. The cheese is melted and incredibly stretchy, and the vegetables add amazing juiciness to the dish. With our energy restored, it's time to continue working. A sauna needs to be almost airtight so that hot steam doesn't escape, and with these gaps, a proper sauna session would be impossible. The gaps appear due to the way the boards were laid, and now each one needs to be sealed. We fill a spray bottle with water from the pond and moisten the gaps. This helps the expanding foam adhere better and expand correctly when filling such large voids. After wetting the surfaces, we carefully fill each gap with foam. Once it dries, we trim off the excess. The gaps between the walls and the roof are now completely sealed. Steam will no longer escape. As we all know, a sauna must retain heat very well, so proper insulation is essential. For this build, we chose a 10mm foil-backed insulation. It's less fire hazardous than foam plastic, doesn't absorb moisture, and also works as a vapor barrier. We place the insulation at the top of the wall and staple it around the entire perimeter using a construction stapler. The excess is carefully trimmed off. The second sheet overlaps the first and is secured the same way. We make cutouts where the windows are installed. Step by step, we cover the entire interior perimeter. We don't forget the door either. It's insulated from the inside with the same material. 5 hours of work, several packs of staples, and the insulation is fully installed, but we're not done yet. To ensure steam doesn't escape between layers and stays inside the sauna, all joints must be carefully sealed with foil tape. It's extremely sticky and holds securely on almost any surface. We tape all seams between the insulation sheets, the connection to the roof, and the joint with the floor. We also seal around the windows and doors. With that, the insulation work is complete. Thanks to the material thickness and fully sealed seams, the sauna will retain heat efficiently, and the wood will be less exposed to steam, significantly extending the lifespan of the entire structure. And as you may remember, the roof was insulated with soil back in the previous episode. Since it was already late at night, we decided to continue the remaining work the next day and headed to our warm, cozy cabin to rest. In the morning, we were greeted by a fully insulated sauna, but now the insulation needs to be hidden. We spent a long time deciding how to cover the interior walls. Regular paneling isn't suitable, it's too sensitive to moisture. Flat, even boards felt too boring, but rough sawn boards, in my opinion, are perfect for this kind of build. They give the sauna a true forest look. I bought a large batch of these boards and sanded them thoroughly to make the surface smooth and free of splinters. We marked the boards and cut them to size. The side walls are ready, so we begin cladding. We install the first board vertically and screw it to the frame, sinking the screws as deep as possible to avoid burns in the future. The second board is installed with a small gap, and the third overlaps the first two. It's essentially the same technique we used on the exterior walls, except here the boards are mounted vertically. Where the rafters were located, we had to cut slots into the boards. The first wall is done. We move on to the second one, which goes even faster now that we know exactly what to do. The front and back walls, however, were more challenging. In addition to sizing the board, we had to cut precise angles to match the sloped roof before installing them. Now the walls are fully clad and the insulation is no longer visible, except on the door. We fixed that as well by attaching several boards to the door panel, which will also help it seal more tightly. The interior cladding is now complete. We definitely made the right choice of material. The sauna now has a wild natural forest look. Thanks to the vertical board orientation, moisture can flow downward along the wood fibers and into the drainage system. We even debated whether interior trim was necessary. The joints turned out quite neat, but one thing is absolutely essential: protecting the wood. For that we use a completely non-toxic oil designed for humid environments. We pour it into convenient containers and begin applying it. Protective coatings apply much more easily to planed wood, and the smooth surface also reduces consumption. We don't forget the ceiling either. It gets a generous layer of oil, since unlike the walls, there's no vapor barrier there. Once the boards are treated, there's no doubt about their durability. The oil provides excellent water resistance and makes the interior look even better. And the two windows will help keep the sauna dry at all times. Next, we finish the door. We attach thin wooden strips to the door frame. So it closes more tightly, preventing steam leaks. Then we install door handles made from leftover boards. A latch is mounted under the exterior handle to keep the wind from pulling the door open. Inside, we install a wooden bolt. Metal hardware would get dangerously hot inside the sauna, and this wooden solution works perfectly. The interior is completely transformed, but the exterior also needs some attention. In my opinion, the natural wood color looks a bit pale, so we decide to deepen it using wood stain. We pour the stain into paint trays and apply it with rollers. In some areas, we switch to brushes where rollers can't reach. After staining, the boards gain a much richer, more natural wood tone, and the entire structure looks dramatically better. Only the corners stand out where the foam is still visible, so we cover them up. Luckily, we had leftover board offcuts, which we attached to the corners as trim. Smaller pieces are installed around the windows to hide installation marks. We also add trim around the door. The sauna now looks much better. To emphasize the structure's edges, we apply a darker stain to the trim pieces. Now our sauna is truly a pleasure to look at. After staining and installing the trim, the result is simply incredible. With the windows and the door installed, the structure looks complete, and a huge amount of work has been done inside. In the next episode, I'll install the stove, and only a little work will remain before the sauna fills with hot steam. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it, and check out these videos as well. They're really interesting. See you very soon.